I just recently watched a video discussing whether the United States is or is not a Christian nation. Now, I'd like to discuss something that I recently talked about with a religious friend of mine. He didn't understand why I found it offensive or upsetting that our money says "In God we trust" or that we have the words "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, on the face of it, that seems fairly innocuous, nothing too serious. But the fact of the matter is that when you talk to somebody about whether or not this is a Christian nation, which is something that seriously impacts our policies, they will bring up a few things. One is they try to claim that the founders were all Christians. I think anyone who knows anything about history knows that that is an absolute lie. There were a great many deists. There were some people that were most likely atheists. There were Christians, undoubtedly. And then there are those who believed in a Christian sort of God, but they certainly did not believe in the types of religions that you see every day when you go to church. John Adams being one of those. His famous quote about it would be, "The best of all worlds, were there no religion in it." Atheists love to quote mine that quote. Of course, if they carried it out further, they'd find that he says, "Then I think further on it, and I think that that's wrong." The only reason he had that statement in the first place is that he thinks that the religious notion of Christianity is bullshit, but he did believe in a God, and he thought that it was better to have religion than not to have a religion. But he certainly would not feel comfortable in today's conservative Christian crowd. That much is certain. So this notion that we are a Christian nation, that the founders would have believed in the kind of stuff that you're hearing today, is absolutely ludicrous. Now, once we put that aside, what are the other two arguments I hear a lot? Well, it says right on our money, "In God we trust," or the Pledge of Allegiance has "under God" right in it. So how can you say we're not a Christian nation? Well, of course, anyone who looks at history will realize that "In God we trust" was not printed on our paper money until the 50s. And that was because Congress was trying to set us apart from the godless communists in the Soviet Union. And "Under God" was a recent addition to our Pledge of Allegiance. So the idea that these somehow reflect the views of the Founding Fathers is absolutely ridiculous. It didn't. They didn't think this way. It's recent development. And so you can see by the way they use that, the Christians fight to get these things into our pledge and onto our money and wherever they can into our documents, so that then they can make the claim that we are a Christian nation, so that they can push the next claim, like getting creationism into schools. And if they were to manage to get that, then their next thing would be, well, we teach creationism in schools, so obviously we're a Christian nation, therefore we should ban alcohol sales nationwide on Sunday, or whatever their next thing is. Or we should require people to declare belief in Christianity, whatever they come up with next. It's a step-by-step process of trying to remake this nation into a Christian nation, which it is not. So the next time you hear an atheist who's upset about the idea of having "Under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance, or "In God we trust" on our money, you will understand that we see these things for what they are. They are just step-by-step ways of trying to take a secular nation and make it a Christian nation. You might want to look at the prayer breakfast they have in Washington. That was forced by Christian groups who supported Dwight Eisenhower for president. No other president ever had the national prayer breakfast. Eisenhower did because he owed his presidency to a lot of Christian groups. That's how they work. You get the power, you force your way in, and so it is not the fact that we are a Christian nation. It is the fact that Christians are trying to turn us into a Christian nation. And I hope that all all of us out there who are not devout Christians will work hard to prevent